Whoa. Hello everyone, welcome to my first impressions video or like review-ish thing of Fate Grand Order. This was like a voted thing that people wanted, so I said okay, I'll do it. I was going to do like a let's play, but then like I messed up the audio recording, so like it was me and my friend Steph. So thanks for Steph to taking the time to help me kind of understand this game a little bit more and get a little bit deeper into it. But I was unable to record their audio correctly, so like I didn't separate their audio from the computer audio because I didn't realize it. It was my first time like recording on Discord, but I didn't realize that it was not separated, and I also didn't realize how quiet it was because when you're listening with your headphones on, you can hear everything fine, but the recording kind of mixed together the game audio as well as the voice audio into one track. I have no idea how to separate the two, if you even can. I don't think you can. So I am going to probably just leave it at this, this kind of video, unless somebody can show me how to do it. So let's dive in. So like I said earlier, special thanks to her Steph to helping me kind of figure out how to set up this game, guide me through it quickly, and explain to me how like the meta and the current like game status style is, okay? It's constantly changing, just like every other like, gacha game and online multiplayer game. So, this is probably going to be outdated in a year. But the game has been going on in Japan since July 30th, 2015, and started in North America June 25th, 2017. So about 8 years in Japan, 6 years in America, or NA rather. Super long time, obviously, and people from America have been playing on the Japanese servers for years, and the US servers are for noobs. Though there is a little bit of a difference between the two. Sometimes events are different, sometimes they do events sooner or later, or add new events to the US or NA servers that they didn't have in the Japanese one, which is pretty typical for most gacha games. But essentially this is a gacha, of course. It's a mobile game with a pretty interesting story. The game is very stylized. They have animations for regular attacks and basic attacks, though it's like more of a Flash marionette stylization to it, so like you kind of can feel like the character's moving at joints and just being slid around. At least that's how it kind of is my opinion of it. The special attacks have like a pretty cool cutscene to it most of the time. Some of them are bad, obviously. Some of them are really cool. But they're really just like, loosely animated JPEGs for the most part, with a few special effects, which, they still look pretty nice. The roster is immensely diverse. It has it has 161 playable characters currently, but 375 characters in the whole game, servant-wise, that you could have gotten at one point. The difference between these, 161 playable characters currently and the 375 that are in the game total is there were some characters that were unique to special events and are no longer available from my understanding, but obviously more are being added, every year, every so often. The game works by allowing you to build like a team of 3 servants out of that 161 available currently, to take down and discover the singularities of the past, to save the present, and to cover who's sabotaging mages and humanity as a whole to cause like an apocalyptic Earth-ending event. You play as a student from who's currently in a mage academy, and he sucks at life, and nobody likes him. He's got no friends besides Mash, who is a fellow student, very quiet, mysterious character, and a other weird magical creature thing called Frau to help you adventure into several singularities to figure out what's happening in this world. The story is mostly told in a visual novel style, with options given to players, but they really don't mean anything, which is kind of a letdown, because if it's a visual novel and you've got no options, you might as well just be reading a book or something like that. So that's kind of a bummer, but it is still a pretty interesting story. I definitely like checking it out. Oftentimes the singularities appear as like previous Grail Wars, or to look into previous servants' lives, before they were servants, which is pretty cool because, if you've ever seen the Fate series, you know that there's a lot of different servants and different historical characters involved in the series. When you battle, you're given 3 different types of card. There's a red, blue, or green card. And they all have a different servant face on it, out of your team of 3. You pick the 3 cards to attack the opponent with all, and if all 3 of them are the same color, then they get like an enhanced benefit. Like if it's 3 red, then they get an enhanced attack, so more damage. If the characters are all the 3 same character on it, regardless of the color, then you'll get a 4th attack for free. There's also different equipment and command spells as well to further optimize your loadout. But each character already has 2 skills, a Noble Phantasm, and each skill has their own requirement and usage. Some of them, you can only use once per match. Other times it just has like a cooldown. It kind of just depends on the skill or the character. That's their way of keeping it balanced. There's also multiple banners being run for when you're trying to unlock a new servant, and give it a pull. Which is, very typical for the gacha, but from what I understand, there hasn't been too many interesting banners lately, which is lame, but I guess what can you do in a game that's been around for like 8 years or so? The game is a pretty good place for people to join in if they've never gone through Fate in the past, because there's a lot of references to the series, but it really only touches on them. There's nothing that's gonna spoil any Fate series in the past or anything like that. You could definitely go into this series if you've never touched Fate before, and it really focuses on its own kind of unique story. That being said, there's a lot of different options, tricks, and tips to this game. So if you are kind of coming into this new, it might be a little overwhelming just from a game standpoint. Personally, I'm not a huge fan into gachas, specifically not big into diving headfirst into these kind of complex systems. Maybe if I really enjoy a game, I'll get waist deep into it, like One Piece. I started off in One Piece Unlimited Treasure Cruise. I really liked it a lot, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, it's getting too complex, and I stopped playing it. So it's hard to kind of get into these systems because they add on each other as time goes on and can become immensely complicated very quickly. Definitely you should check this game out if you're big into gacha and someone haven't seen it yet. I mean, I feel like most people probably have at least heard of it. This was one of the first made good gacha games that I've ever heard of. This and the One Piece game, but personally, I probably won't continue to play it, largely because of my bias against gachas. Getting the freemium currency in this game is largely easy in the beginning, but then just like most other gachas, it starts to grind slowly. There's other, your resources and materials that you can get in the game as well, more efficiently, but at the end of the day, we all know what we're here for. We want to get more servants. The game will provide you with many servants that are very good, even if just for free, that are top tier, but it's Fate, and I want all the servants. So if you are willing to dive deep and get all these servants, or pay, a lot of money for free currency because it's too slow, because it really seems like it slows down quite a lot, then, that's all on you. But for me, it's that's not my kind of thing. The story of it, though, is very cool. I really like it. And there's a ton of different media. If you're more interested in the story, I would definitely push you more towards the other media that's been coming out lately. There's a lot of, manga, there's different specials, there's movies, there's an entire anime series about one of the events or chapters in the story as well. And then there's a lot of memes. Okay, there are so many memes to this game, especially the female MC. She's just a straight up troll. But a lot of this is really cool stuff, especially the character designs. I thought they're very neat. Servants, pretty much, if you didn't know already, are pretty much animifications. Is that a word? Animifications to historical people like Leonardo da Vinci, Arthur Pendragon, Nero. There's a million of them out there. Hercules is one of them too. I mean, there's a ton. of different historical characters. There's Leonardo da Vinci, so it's really funny to see these characters from the past just be big boobied anime ladies, or just like little boys, like and they were supposed to be these epic people. And then there's some that are like Gilgamesh, who is like, you know, kind of what you'd expect, but still really cool looking. So that's kind of my opinion on this game. You know, I really don't think it's for me, but I can definitely see it being one of the more top tier gachas for sure. I do kind of wonder how much longer it's got going. It's been going on for so long, and usually mobile games don't get past a few years. We're going almost a decade at this point. There's no way to transfer your cloud save at all, but I would really like to see this, you know, game take a next level approach, kind of like how Genshin Impact has, you know, push for the gacha game boundary. I would like to see Fate take a similar stab at it and see what they can really do with like an open world Breath of the Wild style series. You know, maybe I'm asking for too much, or maybe it's just, you know, never gonna happen. But I think that would be a lot more interesting to me. You know, definitely having more of an active role in the game. I feel very, you know, what's the word for it? Tedious, just clicking the same maps to do these same dailies and just wait for a timer and press skipping a lot of times, and, you know, waiting for my stamina to just completely deplete. I'd rather honestly go do a daily fetch quest at that point, or, you know, just free roam even in an open world or something like that, which isn't really an option at this point since it's largely all menus, and the menus can be kind of cumbersome personally. So definitely for its time it was a revolution, but nowadays it's like I don't really recommend getting into it unless you really really like Fate at this point. I would strongly recommend checking out the other media though. It is phenomenal stuff. Even if you're not a Fate fan, definitely worth checking out. So what do you guys think about my first kind of like review for these kinds of things? This was, like I said earlier, a fan requested video. I was planning to do a let's play style video, but, you know, things went awry. So definitely still again apologize to Steph about that, because I was not envisioning A, this to happen, and B, for this to be such a hard work project, because now I'm going to do a lot of editing to try to put this together in a presentable state, which I've never done. So that was an excellent mistake on my end. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next video. Let me know if you guys want me to do more of these. Bye-bye.